The following contains spoilers for The Boys TV show. Please complete show before viewing this video. Enjoy.
Gaterthote.
The boys, the boys, the boys, the girl, the boys. Hello, my name is Gaterthote. Your first stop shop for everything getting down with the boys. The Boys is one of my favorite shows of 2020, with its refreshing take on superheroes and politics. I was captivated in a matter of minutes. Now as I anticipate season 3, I'll be making videos on the show and characters during the wait and even after the release. Today's video, I will be discussing my top 10 favorite The Boys characters. Warning, before we start the video, my favorites will be weird, as I frequently go out the realm of main characterism within my list. But it's a personal top 10, so I'm gonna keep my genuine opinions. Without further ado, let's start the video. Top 10 personal favorite The Boys characters. Number 10, Popclaw. Number 10 is the only season 1 exclusive character on this list, as she dies from a Compound V overdose that was forcefully administered to her by her boyfriend, A-Train. She was a weird character, as most scenes we see her, she's only in her house. Maybe she was a little bit of a recluse. She was desperately in love with A-Train, and this love ended up being her downfall. She's on my number 10 spot because her loyalty is a trait I'm very fond of. She wasn't extremely obsessive, but she wanted to be public with her relationship. Her personality was really eye-catching to me. Also, she had one of the best murder scenes on the show, where she face rises a delivery man and crushes his skull with her Popclaw, I guess. Very rad scene, and overall she's a great character. Only wish we could have seen more of her. Number 9, Cheri. Now Cheri, while she's not a season 1 exclusive, it sometimes feels like she is. She is basically the boys' backup team member. If they ever need quick help, in Frenchie's case a quickie, or information, she's their go-to after Mallory. Why she's my number 9 favorite character is due to her laid-back personality. She provides a sense of calm whenever she appears on the scene, and a lot of her scenes are my favorite. Like when Frenchie went to get a quickie after his failed attempt to comfort Kimiko by kissing her. The kiss was not a good idea. The two had sex like an average pair of friends with benefits would, and provided immediate comfort to one another. Cheri's involvement in Frenchie's lamplighter story was interesting as well, as she is the one that Frenchie called when their friend was ODing, taking Frenchie away from lamplighter and Mallory's grandkids. A very touching story that shows why Cheri and Frenchie are so close to one another. All that to say, Cheri was an essential on my top 10 favorite The Boys characters. Number 8, The Deep. The Deep is hands down, no pun intended, one of the best characters on the show. I feel guilty for saying this due to his horrible actions involving how he demeans women. After though, he eventually learns his lesson when a woman gives him a taste of his own medicine by having rough sex with him while torturing his gills. He's a flat piece of paper, but you need a flat piece of paper to do origami. This is what happens in season 2 of The Boys. The Deep is redeemed in the eyes of the viewer and those in the show to some extent when he's reminded of the pain that comes with being demeaned and decides to better himself, ultimately plotting to rejoin the Seven. Though his intentions weren't pure, his effort was, and it made him a character that was relatable. After making a mistake, though making the effort doesn't erase the issue and you're still a shithead for the unthinkable actions you committed, it is respectable for making the effort to be forgiven. Once enough time has passed, even Starlight might forgive him, but I'm thinking a minimum of 50 years down the line. You have to make sure the Deep changed his ties before you jump in. Number 7, Becca. For a long time, Becca was Butcher and sometimes the show's main goal and main catalyst. If she were never raped and never kept in hiding by Vought, the boys most likely would not have formed. At least, Butcher wouldn't have been involved. Who knows though? Anyways, when we finally do meet her at the end of season 1, it was a perfect season finale. This person who a lot of people believe was dead was confirmed alive and within the clutches of the enemy. Tell me that's not epic. In season 2, we see a lot more of Becca, a lot more. By that I mean Becca and Butcher car sex scenes, but we really don't see that much as it's still a TV show. A wonderful reunion indeed. Now why she is in my top 10 favorite characters is a result of her undying love for her son. Though Ryan is a soup and has the powers to kill her at any time, which he does eventually, but it's by accident, she still decides to raise her soup son, even denying escape with Butcher unless Ryan comes with. The best part of it all is that she is able to convince Butcher, the biggest soup hater of them all, to take in Ryan and raise him. Becca and Butcher's relationship was truly special. I would say I wish we could have seen more of her in the show, but her death was almost inevitable for the story reasons, and the impact it will have in season 3 is immense. Becca. Number 6, Black Noir. Being Black Noir must be tough, since he rarely takes off his mask to breathe. I wonder if it stinks in there. Does he eat through his mask? The only thing Black Noir brings to the table is questions and more questions. His mystery is what makes him an interesting character. Wondering what he is gonna do next is always fun, because it could be any completely random thing. One thing that is certain about him is that when he's on the screen is a guaranteed fun time. His skills of ass whoopery are on par with the legends of yore. If Black Noir walks on the screen, you know somebody about to get ripped in half like a sandwich. Delicious. Number 5, Starlight. Though she arguably has the wackest superpower ability, her character is very essential to the show, as she is almost always involved in the main story of the show, except for a few times where she is in the side story. The way she sticks to the 7 to take them out from the inside, whether on her own or with the boys, is a very powerful stance that not many would take or uphold. The only issue with her idea is that there's a chance Maeve attempted this when she first joined the 7, but she got sucked into the 7 lifestyle, and before she knew it, she was one of the bad soups. Hopefully this does not happen to Starlight. Also, the 7 could have been genuine heroes at one point and changed over time, but that is not likely, as we know Vought has always been terrible. I feel like Starlight will be able to stick to her mission. I guess we'll have to see what happens in season 3. Number 4, Butcher. The leader of the boys for most of the show so far, Butcher has definitely been on a roller coaster of emotions over the course of the first 2 seasons. From discovering his long-lost love of his life was still alive, to discovering she has a son with his arch nemesis, to watching the love of his life get killed by her soup son, to finally taking in the soup son as his own. It must have been hell for Butcher, but at least he got a resolution after the 8 years he was searching for Becca. Though Butcher is only my 4th personal favorite character, I believe he is the 2nd best character after Homelander. His obsessive character trait really makes the show that much more interesting. The extent he would go to get rid of the soups was crazy. Then to see him taking a soup kid was a great resolution. Butcher's storyline is definitely my favorite storyline in the show, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Number 3, Mother's Milk. Marvin T. Milk's nickname is at least 20% of the reasons why he is this high up on this list. It's my favorite nickname by far. The backstory is even more interesting, but I'll go into the backstory in a later video. Mother's Milk's personality is friendly and comforting, but still demands respect. His traits are definitely father-like traits, probably because he actually is a father, but Homelander is also a father, and Homelander is the biggest baby on the show. Mother's Milk even keeps his fathering personality while around the boys. He takes care of them when needed and is extremely reliable. For a short second, when Starlight joined the boys' crew for a short time, Mother's Milk was almost a father figure for Starlight during their time together. Mother's Milk and Starlight conversing in a diner was one of my favorite scenes on the show. Also, the scene at the house of the woman who lost her brother to Lady Liberty was also a great backstory session for Mother's Milk, as we learned about his dead father being his motivation to take down Vought. Mother's Milk is just a great character all around. Hopefully we see more of him in season 3. But if he goes back to his wife and daughter, I will definitely respect it. Number 2, Homelander. There's no way this motherfucker was not gonna be on this list. A true dangerous threat to the boys, Homelander is usually the symbol of the main antagonist of the show. I say that because the overall Vought and Soups is what is trying to be taken down, but he is a big reason why the boys desire to take down Vought and the Supes. His actions are the most vicious because he doesn't care one bit when he kills an innocent bystander. The absolute insanity of Homelander makes this show a lot more intriguing. If Homelander was not a character on this show, it would not even be nearly as successful as it is. He is that important to this show. Some scenes he has evolved and go a little too far, but that's the thing about Homelander. He goes too far every episode. He does have restraint sometimes, like when he holds back from eye lasering a whole crowd, so I guess he's making progress. Slow progress, but progress. We will see what he has in store in season 3. Whatever it is, it will definitely be diabolically great entertainment. Honorable mentions. A-Train. Though he's not really honorable in a sense, his character improving in terms of respectable actions and likability was an interesting aspect in season 2. This transformation was well needed for his character. Though season 1 actions still hold him back in terms of likability, personality-wise he was never too terrible, just a little stuck up, but it wasn't to an extreme extent. If only he didn't kill Popclaw and Robin, A-Train would have been in my top 10 favorites. Thanks to his redemption arc of A-Train, he was able to be one of my honorable mentions. Huey. Huey has a great personality. He's probably the person on the show that would be easiest to be friends with in real life. If I did a top 11, he would have been in the 11th spot. Huey just isn't too interesting once we get to season 2. My interest in Huey and Annie's back and forth, will they, won't they, that fades once season 2 begins. Huey becomes almost a secondary character, contrary to his almost main protagonist position in season 1. Also, his PTSD after killing people and watching people get killed is a great feature for the show. Not for Huey, I hope he gets better, but the feature shows that he is still a normal human. His personality is what allowed him to be an honorable mention. Frenchie. A very interesting character indeed. Every person he runs into outside has tried to kill him in his past. His importance to the show is questionable though. Besides bringing on Kimiko to the team and his lamplighter situation, it almost feels like he's a secondary character, which he is, I guess. Not that I'm asking for more Frenchie. We already get enough Frenchie as is, but maybe making him more relevant to the main story would be a little helpful. Other than that, I like the character a lot, so here's his honorable mention. Number 1, Kimiko. Finally, my favorite character from The Boys TV show is none other than Kimiko. A word never comes out of her mouth, but the emotion expressed by her say it all. The only one of the boys who have power so far, Kimiko fight scenes were extremely well choreographed, except for the Girls Get It Done fight. That was probably the worst fight on the show. Nah, A-Train vs Starlight was worse, but Girls Get It Done is a close second. Kimiko doesn't get too much spotlight throughout the show, but her storyline is really captivating to me. Being a Japanese refugee who was forced to fight for the terrorists in a war, then somehow Vought turns her and her brother into Supes, and then they on the other side of the world, and then they reunite in New York, is a crazy story. Her emotional PTSD after watching her long-lost brother get killed by Stormfront is a great story point. I hope she gets better over it though. I don't like seeing her sad like that. When she's around Stormfront, she barely can control herself. It is a really human trait that makes her that much more relatable. The secret language her and only her brother knew was also a great touch, since Frenchie attempts to learn it to get closer to Kimiko. Hopefully in season 3, she gets more development and more showtime. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you think I did well, leave a like and subscribe. Comment any more video suggestions you might have. That's all for today, so goodbye, adios, au revoir.